and it still offers accommodation today. Not for horses, but for tired YouTubers. Hello, and you join me from Shrewsbury, and in this video I'm going to take a little walk around the town, discover some of its history, discover an execution site and some great architecture. And there's some great architecture on this building here, Drapers House, built in the 16th century. Very fine timber framed building. There are quite a few here in Shrewsbury. We'll try and find a few more because some of the architecture and the history connected with the building are quite something here in Shrewsbury. Been here before. I came here about 18 months ago. Met some fellow YouTubers. We had a nice little walk around the town. Had a great day out, and the sun is shining. 16 degrees is the forecast for today, and that is lovely and warm. But just here is St Mary's Church. It's quite a large church. It was founded by King Edgar in the 10th century. However, the current building can date its origins back to the 12th century. Underwent some restoration in the year 1788 by Thomas Telford, and further restoration in later years as well. It was declared redundant in the year 1987 and is now under the care of the church's Conservation Trust. It's a shame that town centre churches have just fallen out of favour with worshippers. And it's nice though that the church's Conservation Trust has taken over the management of the building. There's an interesting stone plaque on the front of the tower, and it commemorates a man called Robert Cadman. And he was a tightrope artist, and he used to tightrope across from the top of the tower across the River Severn. And used to do tricks as well. But one day on the 2nd of February 1739, he slipped and fell and died aged 28. And he's buried in the churchyard behind me. I find interesting stories connected with churches, and some of them, like the story of Mr. Cadman, are quite sad, but yeah, quite sad. But there's another building here, Drapers Hall. Guild of Shrewsbury Drapers have been meeting here since 1485. And the building dates from 1576 to 1580. What a remarkable building it is as well. Absolutely beautiful to look at. Let's head on further into town and discover an execution site. And just across from St Mary's is Butter Cross, and this is Shrewsbury's execution site. It's a very busy junction and noisy as well. There's a commemorative plaque on Barclay's Bank to commemorate those who lost their lives here. Now David III, Prince of Wales, well, he was executed here on the 3rd of October 1283. He was executed for high treason, and his punishment was being drawn, hung, beheaded and quartered. Not a very pleasant way to die. And back in 1403, Sir Richard Venables, the Earl of Worcester, and Sir Richard Vernon were also executed here on the 23rd of July, and that followed the Battle of Shrewsbury. So many execution sites, so many towns I should say, have execution sites near churches. And even though the Buttercross here marks the location, it may have been under Barclay's Bank, a little closer to the church, because the condemned would have received the last rites from the priest, and probably the sacrament before their execution. But let's try and find somewhere a little quieter and find some more interesting properties and architecture here in Shrewsbury. This is Butcher's Row. It's one of the old thoroughfares of Shrewsbury. Just imagine walking down here in medieval times. Would have been quite delightful, I think. But there's some great architecture, lovely building we just passed. And up here is the Abbot's House. It was built in 1459 by the Abbot of Lillishall as an investment for his abbey. Windows at the bottom. Well, they were all separate butcher shops, hence the name of the street. And the upstairs was tenements, residential lodgings. And it was used as shops until the mid-1800s. And then it became a coaching inn in the 16th century. But it's really lovely up here, up towards the church, and these delightful old buildings up here. It really is quite something. The Abbot's House today is trendy shops and a sandwich bar. Seems to be doing a very brisk trade. But this is St. Alkman's church. It's absolutely beautiful inside. It's founded in the year 912 AD by Aethelflaed, daughter of Alfred the Great. It's a lovely church inside, very spacious, and it has the most beautiful altar window. Absolutely fantastic portrait of the saint. Absolutely. Yeah, it's very rare to see an altar window like that. But also there's the remembrance window as well in the church. Very fine portrayal of Jesus standing over a First World War soldier. Really is nice. Yeah. I walk back down to the Abbot's House. I'm going to head down Fish Street, which is another old thoroughfare here in Shrewsbury. Lovely cobbled floors, or cobbled road, I should say, cobbled street. And it's just lovely down here. It's some great architecture. At the top of Grope Lane. In medieval times, this was the red light district of Shrewsbury. People would come down here for a grope. Let's be polite. So it's been interesting how former, I say, usages of streets have given their name to street names. Had Butcher's Row because of the butcher shops, and Grope Lane because people like to have a grope. And this is Fish Street, either named because there were fish shops down here, or because of the pub called the Three Fishes, which might have been named because of fish shops. That's a lovely 16th century Tudor building. It really is lovely. It's nice that these old pubs have survived, these old buildings. There's an old door with a Tudor rose, a red rose. But the building next to it is equally impressive architecturally. And this is the Wesley House. Reverend John Wesley, the founder of Methodism, preached on his first visit to Shrewsbury in 1761. Came across him a few days ago down in Tenby, where he also preached on 2 occasions. What a lovely little cottage. What a delightful little medieval street. This is a street that ticks all the boxes. Tudor architecture, cobbled streets, and a historic church. Really is a picture postcard perfect street. But let's walk down these steps. This is Bank Passage. one of several narrow passages in this region of the town. It's really rather nice. Again, you can just imagine in days gone by, people walking through here, perhaps in Victorian times, Victorian finery, going to church. You find these sort of places in London, and I found a few. Made quite a few videos from London. It's about 9, I think, and quite a few of them feature little passageways like that. And it's delightful to see them. It's nice that they have survived, because these are once major walkthroughs. Just on the left is the Unitarian Church. It was founded in 1662 by the Reverend Francis Tallants and the Reverend John Bryan, 2 dissenters who were ejected from St Mary's Church and St Chad's Church, respectively. Dissenters were nonconformists. It's quite nice looking at it. It was destroyed by the Jacobean riots in 1715 and rebuilt by King George I's government. This rather nice Italian facade was added in 1839. But what's interesting is that Charles Darwin used to worship here from 1809 to 1817. He was born in Shrewsbury on the 12th of February, 1809. And just down here is the bottom of Grope Lane. Across the road from Grope Lane is the square. But it's so busy here with traffic. And even down Fish Street, where I've just come from, there were cars going up and down. I think Shrewsbury has a car problem. It needs to pedestrianise some streets. My goodness. But as we enter the square, this wonderful statue of Clive of India. Now, Clive was born near Market Drayton in 1725. He arrived in India in 1744 after his father acquired the position for him as the clerk with the East India Company. Now, Clive did rather well for himself. He rose through the ranks of the company to seize control of most of the Indian subcontinent for the British Empire. Brilliant man, brilliant man. He died on 22nd November 1774 in London. And there's this fabulous statue of him here in the square. And what a beautiful square it was. I visited it here last time. As I walk down the square, see the market hall, built in 1596. Upper floors were used by drapers and wool merchants. But the bottom section, which is open, was used by farmers to sell corn. It's really lovely inside. It's one of the gems of architecture here in Shrewsbury. Absolutely wonderful. Really is, just walking through here. Absolutely brilliant. And they've got a penfold postal box. These hexagonal postal boxes were designed by John Warnham Penfold between 1866 and 1878. And they have one here in Shrewsbury. Absolutely lovely to see it. You don't see many of them, but when you do, they're nice to see. They're normally in touristy locations. But it's just nice to see one when I'm out and about. It's nice. But let's head on into to Princess Street and see what we can discover on the way down to the old post office pub. into the museum. What a brilliant museum it was. So much on display and so well displayed as well. And they had a Roman section. Just loved looking at Roman things. And everything in the gallery there was found at Wroxeter. Excavations at the Roman town of Wroxeter, or Viroconium, as the Romans called it. Absolutely wonderful to see all the things they have on display. Local museums really do surprise me sometimes. You just never know what you're going to see. Absolutely brilliant. And the Golden Cross pub. Of course, this is Shrewsbury's oldest pub and dates from 1428. It's amazing that there's so many old buildings in Shrewsbury that have survived. The old medieval plan is still visible, unlike so many towns that after the Second World War were destroyed and new buildings and new layouts created. Shrewsbury is a town that ticks all the boxes. It's absolutely lovely. Apart from the traffic. Another car just gone past me. Apart from the traffic, I don't like traffic. But just across the road is the old St Chad's Church. It's called St Chad's Church after St Chad, first Bishop of Mercia in the 7th century. But it's a beautiful building, lovely red stone. Part of the church collapsed in 1788 and they never rebuilt it. They built a new St Chad's Church which opened on the 19th of August 1792. But what is interesting is this door. And I do like church doors. And this is a nice one. And on the top is the date, 1663. 400 and... it's very old. I can't work it out. Over 400 years old. I'll put the answer on the screen. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. And I'm in need of some refreshment. But yeah, absolutely beautiful, that door. It really is. And it's nice to see that they have preserved what remains of the church. And a lovely little churchyard here as well. Absolutely beautiful. You can imagine what this church might have been like before it collapsed. Imagine what Shrewsbury must have been like back in 1663. Absolutely lovely. I really enjoyed my walk around Shrewsbury. It has been so enjoyable. But there's one more place to look at, and that's the old post office inn, 1 Milk Street. It's just across the road. And this is the old post office inn, and it dates from the 16th century, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the Royal Mail, because its name refers to its history as a posting house, an inn that provided stabling accommodation for horse-drawn coaches and carts. And as late as the 19th century, it still had stabling for up to 13 horses. And it still offers accommodation today. Not for horses, but for tired YouTubers, because it's my accommodation for this evening. So this is where I end this video. I've had a great day just walking through Shrewsbury, walking through the back streets, seeing the architecture, and visiting the museum as well. Absolutely wonderful day. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, there's plenty more on my channel from other towns and cities throughout the UK, and a whole series from London. So this is where I end the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow my journey, because there's plenty more to come. Honestly, there is. Thanks for watching.